All right, everybody, time now for our weekly partnership segment with The Lever. And joining us now from The Lever is the one and only Matthew Cunningham Cook. Great to see you, sir.
Thanks so much for having me on, Krystal.
Yeah, our pleasure. So more great reporting that has not been picked up anywhere else to my knowledge. Let's take a look at this tear sheet. You say that Biden has tapped an anti-Social Security ideologue to oversee the program. Biden nominated Andrew Biggs, a think tank denizen with a history of slamming Social Security, to oversee government retirement benefits for 66 million Americans. What do we need to know?
Yeah, I mean, it's for a Republican seat. So I think that's worth clarifying. So this is a joint thing between Senate Republicans and Joe Biden. The administration has decided to fill this seat, even though Mitch McConnell is refusing to confirm dozens and dozens of his nominees. So basically, the administration is bending over backwards to accommodate Mitch McConnell and appoint somebody who really has a history of really aggressive anti-Social Security statements. So he worked on Bush's privatization plan by which Social Security ends up being turned into a big 401k plan. He has routinely endorsed the idea of benefit cuts. He is vehemently against Social Security expansion. And on top of all of that, has led efforts to attack defined benefit pensions in the public sector, especially in Puerto Rico, where he's on the financial control board there. That board has mandated really aggressive cuts to public services across the board and to pensions for public employees. So really Biggs fundamentally is somebody who does not believe that there is a retirement crisis. He thinks that only 23% of Americans having less than 75% of their final income in retirement, that's not a problem. Never mind. That's millions and millions and millions of people. So he really has extreme views that are wildly out of step with Americans' views on this subject. Americans are overwhelmingly opposed to Social Security cuts. Social Security is the most popular program in the country, consistently 85, 90% approval ratings. And this is who, again, when he doesn't have to fill this position, somebody more moderate has chosen a right-wing ideologue for this role. So, yeah.
And you point out that Trump, in a similar circumstance, he just would refuse to put Democrats on boards. So that's how Republicans play this game, just so you guys know. Some details here about from your piece about Biggs' writings on Social Security. As you mentioned, he hand-waved away, you say, retirement insecurity for millions of Americans, saying only 23% of seniors will have retirement incomes equal to or less than 75% of their average pre-retirement earnings, was concerned by Social Security taxes being raised on upper middle-class Americans, endorsed cuts to Social Security, argued Social Security privatization would make Americans, quote, not only richer, but also happier, healthier, more familial, smarter, and more active citizens. Wow, okay. In 2013, he justified the idea of raising the retirement age for Social Security benefits as well, saying that Americans, quote, biggest on-the-job risk is, carpal tunnel syndrome for your mouse or something like that. So very dismissive of this program altogether, seemingly working to find every way he can to justify raising the age, cutting benefits, privatizing it, et cetera. And I think one of the things that you and Sirota have both been raising red flags about is, listen, nobody's talking about Social Security cuts. Well, I shouldn't say nobody. Democrats are not talking about Social Security cuts right now. Republicans are starting to talk about, quote unquote, entitlement program cuts. And we've been to this play before. We know after Obama got shellacked in the midterms, that was when he came in, we got to have a bipartisan budget hawk deficit deal, including repeatedly trying to get Republicans to the table to cut benefits on these programs. So this comes at a very risky moment for Social Security as well.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. Is Lindsey Graham has made clear that, if he's the chairman of the budget committee next year, that he plans to go after Social Security and Medicare and retirement programs. And so Biggs's nomination is really about teeing that up, I think. Biggs is a very sophisticated kind of guy, who is a really good at navigating Washington bureaucracy to effectuate savage cuts against the working class. That's what he's shown in his 6 years on the board in Puerto Rico. So I think that really what we're seeing is this more or less, this announcement that got no coverage outside of the lever, really, I think, will be seen as a marking point for a new battle to protect Social Security. I think that Social Security in the next Congress, but it's going to take a significant mobilization, just like it did in 2011 and 2012 and 2013 and 2014 to defend the program back then as well.
Yeah, I think that is all really well said. Thank you so much for actually paying attention to these things. I think that, as you said, we're going to look back at some of these warning signs and recognize what they actually were and what they were building towards. So, Matthew Cunningham Cook, great to see you. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me, Krystal.
Our pleasure. And thank you guys for watching. We're going to have more for you later. Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.